Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Wendy here. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So today's video is a slightly different video. I just wanted us to just have a talk about perfume and perfume buying. I know a lot of people like perfume. The perfume industry has been on a boom and a lot of people are building collections. It wasn't something that was very popular. I would say like 10 years ago or so, we had a few YouTubers, if one or two, and then suddenly there was a boom. And now we have perfume YouTubers everywhere, TikTok YouTubers everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you go, you'll definitely find someone talking about perfumes. So I thought about doing a video on how to grow a perfume collection without going broke. I know so many people have talked about how to build a perfume collection, but no one wants to talk about the financial implications of building a collection, and it's something that I think we need to be talking about a lot. A few people have spoken about it and talked about cutting down and obviously trying to just tell their viewers that you don't have to buy everything, but I think we just needed to have this talk. So why am I having this conversation right now? Because I feel like of late I have been watching a lot of financial literacy content. I have been reading a lot of financial literacy books. And it's something I feel like I have grown up with a mom who's very financially literate. Like my mom is a teacher. She's a head teacher somewhere. And way back, I think even now, like teachers don't get a lot of money, but she managed to afford us a good life. My dad obviously had more money than her, but he passed on when I was young. But she taught me financial literacy, and to this day I still feel like she's more financially literate than I, because my mom with a, like if you give my mom a 20,000 and how she would grow that money and keep that money, save that money, or how she would budget and use that money is definitely different from how I use my money. I still have a lot of learning to do, and that's why I've been reading up a lot on finances and trying to just budget and manage my finances a little bit better. So that's where I'm coming from with this. But yes, perfume. Let's talk about perfume, because we love a good thing and you only live once. As much as you want to be frugal, for me, I believe that everyone in this life, frugal or not, has something that they spend their money on. You'll find that someone maybe perhaps doesn't like buying perfumes, but they do spend money on maybe weaves. Maybe they spend most of their money on shoes. There is definitely an expensive hobby that everyone has. That is debatable, but for me, I really feel like everyone does have an expensive hobby somewhere. They just might not know it. Even when you're struggling, there's definitely something like you would say, when I'm broke, no matter what I can, even if like it might not be a luxurious thing. There are people who would say, no matter how broke I am, I should have fuel in my car. No matter how broke I am, we should afford to have a proper meal at home. Yeah, but those are needs, but definitely if you're a middle income person going up, there is definitely an expensive habit that I feel you have, and you need to search within you and find it. But anyway, let's get into this video. So first things first, perfume is expensive. Let's just be realistic. Perfume, yes, even the celebrity perfumes are expensive to someone else, because when you look at it, perfume is a luxury. It is not something that you absolutely need to have. I think when you think about it for basic hygiene purposes, all you need is a bar of soap to bath and deodorant, and you will not smell offensive to anyone out there. That is the reality. So if you're going to build a collection, you need to be open to the fact that perfume is a luxury and perfume is expensive, and you are going to have to accept that and create some sort of budget line for it. So what am I saying? You need to be realistic with yourself. Ask yourself, as I am starting this collection, what am I going to buy? Am I going to be buying high-end perfumes? Can I afford designer? Am I going to buy celebrity? Or maybe you can have a combination of like a very mixed collection. I like to think of my collection as a mixed perfume collection. I don't have or niche or designer or celebrity. I mix things up. So you need to accept that it is a luxury. And as we are picking this habit, which I am calling it a habit, is there any other luxury that you are into? And do you absolutely have to have two very expensive habits? This is something that we all need to ask ourselves. Like for me, I think I am someone who cycles through these things. I'll be in a phase, for instance, when I just want to buy shoes. And I might be on a no buy for perfumes. I'll just be into shoes. I'll just be buying shoes and I'll just be buying shoes. Then I'll get tired of that and I'll shift. Maybe I'll go into clothing. I just might be buying a lot of new clothing and then I'll just get tired of that. Right now, my current habit is buying books. I've just started buying books and within this month I've bought 6 books. Yeah, but books are more cheap. They are way cheaper compared to perfume. So if you're going to, what I'm trying to say here is that if you're going to have an expensive habit, try to have one expensive habit at a time. So if it's perfume, if you've decided for this year I want to build my collection, you're going to have to forgo certain things. I personally forgo a lot of things. I'm not very big on weaves. If you can see, I'm usually just in braids or my actual hair. I forgo sometimes clothing. I forgo a lot of things for me to just buy a perfume. So that's that. Accept that perfume is a luxury first and then pick your habits. If you're going to pick perfume collecting, but if you can afford it, by all means go off. Like buy as many things as you can. Not everyone is poor, by the way, and not everyone needs to be on a budget. So yeah. So this is just about us who need to sort of budget and live within our means. So that's that. Then the second thing I would say is set a monthly allocation. I am a strong believer that even for entertainment purposes, like going out with friends, eating out, you need to have a sort of budget line for that. Because when you do not plan for something, it will end up eating into all these other things without you knowing how much you're spending on that particular thing. Let's say going out. If you put a cap, like if you live in Zambia, you put a cap of 2,000. I'm only going to spend 2,000 on luxuries. And you mention what those luxuries are. Maybe drinking out or eating out or buying perfume. There are people who don't go out, eat out a lot, maybe once a month or so, but then they would like to spend it on perfume. So if I have a $2,000 or 2,000 kwacha budget for my entertainment, I can say, oh, since I want to buy that perfume, I can be setting aside a 500 kwacha or $500 towards buying my perfume. So have a set budget and try not to exceed it. Try by all means not to exceed it. So yeah. Then my fourth tip is buy perfumes you already know that you love first. Like if you have someone without a collection at all, you've tried out samples, you've tried out decants, I would suggest that you start with the perfumes that you know you love. So if you've tried out La Vie est Belle, for instance, and you know that you love La Vie est Belle, try to get La Vie est Belle first before you go and perhaps you're watching a video and I say, oh, there's something better than La Vie est Belle. Instead of La Vie est Belle, buy 100 Silent Words, which you have never tried before. You do not know if you love it or not. I would suggest that you first buy what you know. Start with what you know. If there are 2 perfumes that you know you definitely like, buy the La Vie Belle or buy Versace Eros perfume and just start buying like that. Another thing with the buying, I would suggest, if you're trying to grow your perfume collection, I used to do this. Like, I would buy for every bottle I finish, I have to buy 2. For every bottle that you finish, you have to buy 2. And eventually you get to a point where you're not finishing any perfumes. Like, it's you've just reached a certain level because your collection has grown. Because if you just have one perfume in your collection, you'll be using it daily and it would definitely run out. So if you use one bottle, you finish it and you tell yourself, when I finish that bottle, I need to buy 2. It's better. Your perfume collection is definitely starting to grow. So next up, good deals. Let's talk about good deals. Good deals. I was a slave of good deals. And sorry, there's a fly here. I believe that good deals will always come and go. I really struggled with this and accepting this, because there was a time when I wouldn't see a good deal and just let it pass. I would feel like that's the end of the world. Like, if I don't get this particular perfume right now, I'll never see a good deal on this particular perfume ever again. But I am here to tell you that good deals come and go. And I don't mean like just good deals in general. Like, good deals for that particular perfume will come and go, and they'll come again. And that, I'll give an example of Delina. I want Delina. It's been on my want list for a while. I have seen good deals for Delina, and I've seen them come, go. And I strongly believe there will always be good deals coming and going. But in the past, I was struggling to a point where if I see a good deal on a perfume, I'll even tell a friend, like, can you get this perfume for me, and then let me send you the money tomorrow. I made the absolute worst mistake of even tapping into my savings. Like, this is money that you should never touch. This is money that is there for an emergency. But I got to a point where I would say, let me touch into these savings, I'll replenish them, let me just buy this perfume, because it's a deal. It's a very, like, it would feel like it's a once in a lifetime deal, which is never the case with perfumes. Perfumes will always be there. And perhaps if you become more financially liberated, you'll be able to buy them no matter what cost they are at, no matter whether they are discontinued or not. So I just feel like we need to accept that good deals come and go, and learn to say no. Learn to say no to a good deal. Like, for me, I do promos on my page, but then if you just feel like you do not have the money to buy something in that promo, let it go, and then something else will come. So that's my 5th tip. I wrote something down here, and I'm going line by line, just trying to expanding on that. And I hope someone so far is relating to what I am saying. If there's anything that you have related to so far, leave it in the comments and let me know. And also, in case I leave out any tips on how to build a collection without going broke, please do add it in the comments. There could be someone who read your comments and relates and say, I need to do that, and I need to learn how to build my collection without going broke. So the next thing I would suggest is sample and buy decants. I know in Zambia we don't have decant services. I'm trying to set that up, and I hope you guys are buying into it. But sample perfumes. For me, what I do when I get a sample, usually samples are like 1.5 mils to 2 mils. If I get a 2 mil sample, I'm going to spray myself the whole sample. Like, I'm not one of those people who believes in using a sample multiple times. I'll get the whole sample, drowse myself into it, and then experience it. I usually don't wear my samples at night, because I wear them when going out somewhere, so that I get to experience if really, how will I be experiencing this perfume during the day when I wear it. So sample, if you can sample. If you have decant services available, it's just a decant. Buy it and experience it. With a decant, say 10 mils. For me, with a decant, I would rather buy the bigger the better, because I get to experience it multiple times. So if you can get a decant, experience it over and over. If there are multiple samples you can get samples, experience the perfume over and over before you add it to your wish list. Another thing you can do alternatively is to buy pre-owned bottles. You can buy pre-owned bottles on eBay, on Depop. You can buy pre-owned perfumes from Facebook. Just because what works out for someone might not work for you, or what works for you might not work for someone else. So I feel like even with new releases, I am so lucky that I don't suffer from the FOMO, rather, which is fear of missing out. Even when there's a new release, unless I absolutely need that and I absolutely need to try that out, I will wait. I will wait for people to buy the perfumes at full price, wear them out, give reviews, and perhaps even do regret videos, declutter. When they start decluttering, you have a chance to then buy a perfume, a pre-owned perfume. Sometimes it could be even a perfume that was released years back, but you just want to try it and you don't want to buy a full bottle. So you can buy a pre-owned bottle. I myself am a testimony to this. I buy pre-owned bottles, especially if it's something that I'm just trying out and I'm not very sure about. I'd rather buy a pre-owned bottle, because usually when you buy a perfume at full price, the minute you spray it, it becomes a pre-owned bottle and the value goes down. So the people who are going to sell you those pre-owned bottles, they'll sell them to you at a very good price. So try pre-owned bottles. Next up is, if you cannot avoid blind buying. You guys, the thrill of blind buying is something so deep. It's something so exhilarating. I personally still do blind buys. I try not to blind buy very expensive perfumes, but if you want to blind buy, you can blind buy a small bottle of the perfume. Blind buy a small bottle of the perfume. And when it comes to something, you can also go to a store, smell it, although they won't obviously allow you to wear it all over. But what I mean is, if you can't, there's a particular perfume that you want, you cannot smell it anywhere where you stay, and you just have to blind buy it, buy a smaller bottle. It's better. I know that bigger bottles are more value for money, but what's the use of having a 100 ml bottle that you will not finish, which was I would say cheaper when you look at it at the value per ml, as compared to buying a 30 ml, which is slightly expensive, because the smaller the bottle, the more expensive. Or even the travel size that you will absolutely use and finish, and decide whether you want to continue buying that perfume or not. So I'd say also try smaller bottles. I have been trying to buy smaller bottles. Of course, there are no smaller bottles for all the types of perfumes, especially for most Arabic perfumes. I don't see smaller bottles. I usually see them in 100 ml, but then they are more affordable perfumes. But for niche perfumes, if you can get a pre-owned bottle or a smaller bottle, better that way. So try that. Then another thing that I would say is listen to reviews from people you trust. So if there's so many YouTubers at this point, you look anywhere, you'll find a YouTuber. Perhaps you can find a YouTuber whose taste is similar to yours, or who you absolutely trust. I know there's all this talk around, no, certain YouTubers just hype up perfumes because they're sent to them. But there are certain YouTubers who receive PR, but they're just genuinely honest with you. So watch reviews, like not just from one YouTuber, watch reviews about a perfume. For instance, you want to buy Zejov Lira, just go and search Lira on YouTube and watch 3 or 4 perfume videos from different people, for instance, to get perspective. And then also go to Fragrantica, read what's people genuine people who just love perfume, what do they have to say about this perfume, and then decide on that. Also, look at the note breakdown. I, for instance, love woody, boozy type of perfumes and very fruity perfumes. I am only starting to get into florals. So for someone who loves hardcore florals, I might not be the best person to give to listen to perfume reviews for. I might not have a collection that has a lot of florals, but if it comes to woody perfumes, when it comes to fruity perfumes, I might be the person that you want to listen to. So read reviews, watch perfume videos, watch TikTok on particular perfumes, and just get to learn what it is that you like, and also know your taste. So knowing your taste, I featured Andy, one of my friends, on my channel recently, and one thing that stood out to me from doing that video is that he loves what he loves. He has a specific type of note profile that he gravitates to, and most of his perfumes smell very similar, and he likes that. Not that everyone needs to be like that. If you like to sample different things and enjoy what you like, get to know yourself and know your taste, and say, for instance, if you don't like very patchouli heavy perfumes, it would be good for you to avoid very patchouli heavy perfumes. But then if patchouli is mixed in with fruits and you enjoy that, get to know yourself. Knowing perfume notes and the note breakdown might take a while, but just be open to learning. And whenever you love a perfume, look at the notes and try to see, so like for instance, I love moss. And if you find that you love moss in perfume, try to go to that particular note and try to see what other perfumes in this note are there that I could possibly try out. And also, when you're using Fragrantica, when they're telling you about, let's say I've gone to Lib Intense and I'm trying to find perfumes that smell very similar. If you like Lib Intense, you might also like Golden Decade by Zara. So that's an alternative that you can buy. Or you can also buy there's a perfume from the Lancome private line. I've forgotten the perfume. It's something Trianon, but it's like very similar to that Lib line, and it just has some sort of lactonic accord to it. So get to know yourself, read notes, read reviews, and figure out what works for you and stick to it. Just because I tell you that gourmand perfumes are the way to go doesn't mean you have to love gourmand perfumes. Another thing I'll say is curate the content that you listen to, or the content that you read, what you watch, to manage the FOMO. Because I feel like when you watch so much YouTube, you get to have the fear of missing out. If you just log in, everyone is talking about this Kiali perfume. You definitely want to have it, and you'll be forced to buy it because you don't want to miss out what people are hyping out there. So manage your content. You don't need to watch perfume videos all the time. You could listen to videos about fashion, about anything that you feel like the universe, anything that you feel like you need to watch. Have a diverse, have different hobbies. Yes, perfume. I watch a lot of perfume content. I read a lot of reviews, but that's not all I do. So when you manage the content that you're taking in, it will also manifest in the habits that you exhibit. So there's that. Last but not least, balance out your collection. So if you have a budget, if you can afford, buy Onish. But if you can balance it out, you can balance it out by perhaps buying dupes of high-end perfumes. And when I say dupes, I'm not saying where it's supposed to be Savage, the written Savage, then you go and buy that and consider it a dupe. No. What I would say is a dupe is here's a house, maybe Salvatore Ferragamo has a perfume that smells very similar to Dior Sauvage. That's a dupe. Or Zara has a lot of dupes. Police has a lot of dupes. You can try those, and the quality is not going to be you're not going to compromise on the quality, because dupe houses genuinely try to make good quality perfumes because they're trying to live up to a certain standard as well, and trying to draw out people from buying these very high-end perfumes. So they would definitely put in a bit of effort when it comes to quality. So balance it out. You can tell yourself, like, on a special day like my perfume, I'm going to buy that very expensive niche perfume that I've always wanted, and you buy it because you need to make yourself happy as well. And if you say, I'm going to buy some designer perfumes that I'm going to be wearing for work, you can buy that. If you want an affordable perfume, like there are certain niche perfumes that are overpriced, but yet there are so many dupes, you can also buy dupes. So basically, that is all I wanted to tell you guys. Let me know if there are any other tips that you have for people who are just starting to build their collection and don't want to go broke. What has been your experience as you build your collection? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.